Hello and welcome to Faith Building Podcast episode 31 with your amazing and lovely host, Vladi, Kuna.
And Norman Gräter.
And we welcome you to this episode about addiction. Vladi had the amazing idea in the last episode to speak about addictions. And I want to kick it off with a little story before I hand it to Vladi that kind of shows where we lose our creativity and probably the lightness in life and make it an addiction. Can you remember when you were a little child playing in the sand that you had the desire to build a castle, a sand castle? I do, and I did. For hours I was sitting at the beach building sand castles, and it was amazing. And I realized I never destroyed mine at the end, but watching other kids at the beach, I see that sometimes, especially smaller children, destroy what they created right after they finish it. And it's interesting. Usually, then the parents start jumping up and down and saying, "Why did you destroy that?" And especially if they help creating it and building it, they say, "We sat there for 2 hours, and why do you destroy it?" And the question that arises in me thinking about that is where did we get addicted to keep the end result? Because for the kid, it was about the creation of the sandcastle, which means the fun came through building it and not by owning it or renting it or preserving it, or I don't know what the parents want to do with it. And they got addicted to this I am what I have. Because other people should see my sandcastle, what my son or my daughter has built or what we built. I mean, that's the only reason. Why otherwise do you want to keep it and not playing it out again like the sand was before you started building? It has to do with addictions. And I remember, I think it's Mark 10, verse 15 in the Bible. Anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will never be able to have it. Something like that. Where I thought this little story about the sandcastle and what's written in the Bible, they go hand in hand together, which means we can only enter the kingdom of heaven, which in my world is my wishes, dreams, and desires, if we are like a little child. And a little child is just playing and wants to create something new. But we as adults are so addicted to the result that it looks good, that it feels good, that we can show it to others, that we kind of, through school and who lectured us and who taught us what's right or wrong in our lives, it all has to do with the self-image. What the self-image says, the body will do, and Vladi is the master of self-image. So guide us through, Vladi, what the self-image has to do with addictions and probably how we can solve that and come back to this childlike mindset.
You know, guys, self-image changed my life in ways I could never even think that it would. I thought that there are so many more important things, like we're talking about studies, education, building yourself up, a career, becoming the best mom, and, like all these things. Self-image, I'll just give you a very quick overview, and it will be fast because otherwise we'll be here for a long time. But psychocybernetics is a system which even planes use. So you all fly by plane. So if there is a plane leaving London going back to Berlin, so I'm going to see Norman, it sets the destination and it will stick to the psychocybernetics will. So let's say there is a turbulence on the plane or there is a storm and it gets thrown out of the route. The plane just deviates from the route. The psychocybernetic system is a system that brings it back to that track. So they arrive into Berlin. Now, your self-image is also a psychocybernetic system. So if you have a thermostat and temperature and allowing thermometer in your home, and let's say now it's hot, we're in the summer, we were both talking to Norman before we met, that we have like 35 degrees, so it's really, really hot. But it's in the winter. Let's say you're in the winter, it's freezing, maybe it's snow where you are, and you set the temperature of your house for 25 degrees to keep it warm. But it's been a week of freeze, -40, really cold. So 25 is actually cold. So what you need to do is you need to set it up for 30 in order to go higher. Because what happens is like you wake up in the morning, it's freezing, the house is cold, sets the temperature, and until it reaches 25s, it will heat up the home. Then it shuts down and stays on the temperature you set it. Now you have set your self-image. You have an agreement with yourself, what beliefs you've taken on of what is the self-image I hold of myself. So who am I? What is the Vladi I see? Who is the Vladi I see in my mind? And that is who I am. Because I make these all agreements. So when I say I'm loving and lovable and I'm amazing person, I always like challenges, I create solutions, and I love serving people, and I'm a great mom, and like great to whom? You could say, well, if I say I'm a best mom in the world, and every other woman on this planet says I'm a best mom in this world, we all right. This is not a competition world, baby. This is really what you tell yourself. I can declare whatever I want because I am the best version of myself and I'm growing to be better every single day. So self-image, you can never outperform your self-image. When I've heard that statement first time, I felt like I think I had to hear it so many times before it kind of struck me. Who is that person you set? We're raising standards in real life. We talked about it in last episodes, like being more efficient and stuff. But really raise the standard of who are you? And who do you want to show up in the world as? Who do you want to be? You can be who you desire to be. There's no one who can tell you otherwise. It's you who shuts down and say, well, I'm not good at this. I wish I could do that, but I don't have enough education. And if I had more money, I would do this. That's all lies you tell yourself, guys. Because if you're truly passionate, look at the story Norman was talking about the kids. If you're truly passionate about getting something that you would love. What do I mean by what you love? The chemistry. Like when you fall in love, you see someone, you fall in love, you spend a day with them, and that's it. It's like the vibrational chemistry between you and that person, or between you and the thing. It doesn't have to be person. Girls who love shoes, or they like something, they come and they see this new handbag and they must have it. It becomes their number one desired object. They will find a way to get it regardless of where it is, how much it costs, even if they have to fly across the other end and find a way to bring it to you. Because think about how many things and people you brought into your life by exactly using this. But what is the picture you hold in your mind of who you are? Are you telling yourself that you can't do this? It's too hard. The world is different. The world economy is not right for this. Are you asking the outside sources and things outside you what you can or cannot do? Or are you really going inside you thinking, okay, what can I get better at? I want to be a speaker. What do you need to do? Just literally have a phone these days. So easy. You record a phone, post it. It's free to actually create a YouTube channel. You get there. Consistency is the key, but you throw yourself out there into doing it. And you learn by doing it. You get better. Then you surround yourself with the people. You find experts who can help you. You just really stay in the energy of that, because the addictions are really attachments. It's like addictions with food and sugars. And I went through a 40 days. Well, now it's actually 35 days of no sugar. And the first few days, if somebody tells you it's easy, they lie. When you take yourself off sugar, I'm talking sugar including fruit, like no sugar. Do this detox for 10 days and you will be driving. I had headaches. I had like a nerve shooting up my head here thinking, oh my goodness, like your body goes into a complete spasm. Because we're so addicted to sugar. We have it in foods, we drink it, and I'm actually quite considering myself to eat really healthy. I don't drink any sodas and stuff, and yet I still experience this. How is that addiction and attachment raised? And maybe Norman can talk more about the addictions we have.
Yes, I can and I will. We should and can ask ourselves what's the why behind the why. What Vladi shared about the self-image, your self-image controls everything. It's like your big commander in your mind. besides your true I am, but the one that wants to be commander and says, I'm the ruler, I'm the emperor, and I rule this body. The question is, what Vladi shared, if you want to become a better speaker or whatever, you create a new habit. First, you have to realize your addiction and get away from it. With sugar, it's obvious if you stop drinking soda and eating stuff with sugar in it, then your body will tell you exactly what you're addicted. Still, look at the why behind the why. What do I mean? Let's just imagine, let's make it very plain. You want to have a Bentley, a beautiful Bentley car. And the first why you want to have that, we spoke about that before, and if you know our work, you can relate to that. We always ask, what's the feeling you have when you get the Bentley, or the new job, or the new relationship, or more money, or whatever you have? Because it's all about the feeling. The object is just a stepping stone for you to receive an emotion that you don't have currently in your body. That's why you say, I need a Bentley, I need the watch, I need the vacation, I need whatever. That we know. But there's another why behind the why, which means you want to have the Bentley. Why? That's the first why, because I want to feel better. And now I ask, and what's the second why? What gives you the feeling of feeling better? And this is your true addiction. And probably it's that you say, you know, I feel better because the neighbors or my colleagues or my family members, they clap when I drive around the corner, or they adore me more, or they see more value in me. So the only reason you want to have the car is not to feel better, but because you want to be seen as a hero from other people. That's your real why, and that's your real addiction, because your whole life, your whole body, everything that you do on a daily basis is following this first why. Everything you want to achieve, everything you do and everything you don't do has to do with your true addiction. And very often this true addiction is based in a negative style. And as we know, who knows my first book, we have 7 nerve autobahns, I want to call them, highways in our mind for negative, and only 1 for positive, which means if we're currently stuck in the I'm positive, I'm not saying anything negative, it's a great thing. We can use the 1 highway. The moment we go negative, we have so much more power and force. And I spoke about this yesterday in our online community. And it's interesting. One of the ladies raised her hand and said, you know, I don't have a why behind the why. I did everything for myself. And she spoke about that. And after a minute or so, she started a rampage about her parents. And I just said, my own children will not have the thing that I went through with my parents. And she was fuming. She was full of emotion and energy, which means when she spoke about herself, on the 1 highway in her mind, it was okay. But when she spoke about a pain, she boosted it up 7 times more. Which means if you, just for the fact of creating stuff, use your negative drive when you find out what's my true addiction, when I really go low, low, low in my structural level, why I am and who I am and my self-identity. If you find that and press your thumb onto it, it will boost you so much faster forward and will give you the power that probably you sometimes lack, because Vladi and I know that if you're just positive and you're not goal-driven anymore and you're not object-driven anymore, it can happen that you lose your strength and your boost, your power, because everything is beautiful, everything is blue glasses and pink glasses. Go back to the true addiction that really pushed you through your life and use that as a force, always having in mind that you're just using it. And last thing that just comes to my mind, there's a documentary about Michael Jordan, I think on Netflix, and he was asked where his strength and power comes from. And he says, this last game we lost, and there was this other player, and he just grinned at me and said, wasn't really a good game, right, Jordan? And I was so mad and furious that I said the next time I will beat him to the ground, not verbally, but playing basketball. And the next game, of course, they won big time. And they said, you know what? The conversation I just told you with this other teammate from another team actually never happened. I just made it up in my mind to really bring out this addiction of being the best and beating the others and having my passion up front and having my values respected. So we can use all of that. It's all up to your self-image, and all your addictions are in the self-image. So if you work on that, you really hit a home run, I want to say.
I'm going to tie this into self-love again. Because really, when you think about it, guys, go back to the childhood. And maybe you can't go back, but really, when I did the work with the professional in a field of childhood patterns and bringing out all the family, I mean, what I discovered was like, there's no way this person can ever know this. And when it all lined up as a map, I was astonished. And there was something that stood out for me hugely, because we parents do that. And she said, the addiction and attachment we train our kids to do that. Why? Because every child will nothing more just to be loved. They want to be seen, heard, loved. They want us to feel that we're proud of them. Parents to tell them, oh my God, I love how you've done, But what we parents do often is we criticize. Okay, it's B, but you could have had A. Like we're not looking at the capabilities of the child. And let's bring ourselves back to the childhood. Our parents did the best they could with what they've had because they didn't know anymore. But so many times we were trained to be addicted to love. And we would be attracting wrong partners. We would be attracting wrong jobs. I mean, attracting not the healthy, fit body we would love to have. Like it goes any area of your life. Now, where it came and it struck me was this person said, like, the worst thing you can say to your child when you say, I love you. Okay, I love you too. I love you. She said, when you train your child to say, but I love you more. And like sometimes we play these games, but no, I love you more. But no, I love you even more. And I love you infinity times infinity. What we're doing, we're actually not creating that I love you is enough. We're creating that there has to be this neediness for the other person to show us even more that they love us, because the I love you is not enough. And now you find yourself in a first love, family, and pretty much throughout the adulthood, where you feel that you may be experiencing in your life. I was there. So I'm going to say, like I've had this game with a very initial first couple of years with the kids. And once I went through this training, I never ever said it again. And whenever my kids would say, well, but I love you more, I said, no, I love you is enough. Then it doesn't need to be more, because I love you is a complete sentence and it's a complete feeling. And there doesn't need to be a more and more. It's this competition which brings us into the world that, well, but I have to do a little bit more and I have to love you more. And it creates a lack for some of us. And then you feel you're living or sitting on a frequency of not enough. And what do we talk about all the time? I am more than good enough is every single one of you, and it should be a statement and full stop. There's nothing else. When we feel that we need this neediness, like, well, I need more approval. It's the approval thing. It's that, oh, but if they love me more, they approve of me, and that fills me in, but that fills you from outside. It hasn't filled you from inside. When you reach the state that I know I am just the best I can be, and people say I love you, or even if they don't say it, I can just feel that I'm loved. If you can get into this state that that just because they frown at you and they said, seriously, I just don't want to talk to you today, don't take things personally. It's like that you never know what the other person's going through. And just because sometimes we react and not respond, going back to our last episode, it doesn't mean it's personal. It's 90% of the times it's not even aimed at the other person. But unfortunately, they stepped into our energy while we have to deal with something, and they got it because they're first in there in front of us who we thrown at. But it's not even about them. But we just get so upset. Okay, this is it, like I've done nothing. I said nothing very often in marriage. Like you don't pause and say, oh, what's going on? Something's going on with them, or just don't even pay attention to it. Ignore, like learning to ignore. Be happy and don't be right, because it's the need to, but I want to be right, but I am right. Okay, so what? Rule your own kingdom, but don't expect somebody else to just give it to you. So actually this neediness or attachment starts with I love you. Don't say I love you more. It's really, and that awakened me so much, because then I used this into the self-image coaching we do. And it approved that sentence that so many people actually did never think about, that how many problems it causes, because they have certain expectations of their partners and of their kids, and it's just not even relevant.
I totally agree. And it's the addiction to basically everything. Even if you say I buy many vacations, I buy many cars, I buy many whatever you collect coins, it always gives you the feeling of being loved. Because in the first moment I thought it's just the feeling of joy. No, usually the addiction is connected to I treat myself with something nice. And I realized that myself. If you have a mastermind online course and it goes 2 3 hours and it was beautiful and you're totally shot afterwards, I caught myself thinking, now let's have a, and in the old days I would have said, let's have a beer, let's have a glass of wine, or let's have a piece of chocolate, or let's have something nice to eat. But I stopped myself during the last couple of months and said, wow, am I addicted to those things? I use food or alcohol in the past to treat me for something great I did. And the food gives me the feeling of not I'm loved, because you say food cannot love you, but I do something for me. I know it's 12 at night, it's not healthy to eat a pizza at this time, but I love myself that much that I say I love pizza, and therefore I treat myself with that. It's all an addiction, what Vladi said. Where are you addicted to things that you say, because I don't love myself, I need to buy a watch every week because this gives me the feeling of being appreciated. Because if I show it in the office, then the others say, wow, you bought a new watch. And this could give me the feeling of they love me. But honestly, they don't love you. Maybe they adore you, but that's not love. Or maybe they just say out of politeness that they like the new watch, but think you're ridiculous, egoistic, and that you could do better with the watches, and that you don't need 500 watches because you can only wear one at the same time. Just have a look at it. Where am I addicted to things that are hidden in food, in drinks, in sugar, in things that wrap themselves in a different outfit? And I always think it's for me, but at the end of the day, it's just to fill this empty cup of self-love that's not really full. Rather work on that. And that's why Vladi and I get up every day to show people how to do that, to bring them back to their inner self and say, you can have as many watches as you want. Still, don't get your pleasure out of course, get your pleasure out of it, but don't get your self-love cup filled with all the things you buy.
I love how Norman clarified it, guys, for you right now, because it's not that you can't have a new car. It's not that you want to have if you're a lady and you want the Louis Vuitton handbag, if you have, like passion towards something, it's perfect. But is it your passion or someone else's? This is the key what we're trying to, that's the actually core message we're trying to get across. If you want to go and drive a Porsche, go and do it. For me, cars, I love cars. I'm a little male in this sense. I love cars. I love speed. I love the sense of it. It's just, but it gives me so much joy and fulfillment that I couldn't care less what do people think about my car. But I know that there's so many times we come, and I was there. I was building myself through the 20s, like young. I was looking at all this, okay, I leave Slovakia, left to the UK, I need to build myself, started working corporate, I needed to buy the suit. And then suit wasn't just enough. So I needed to go for a designer suit because now I was more. Well, that's what I thought. I actually thought I would be received better by people because now I have this watch and I have this and I am going on the luxury holidays. But what's happening is society is putting so much pressure on us, where I will tell you this now, going and having a 1 day out with the kids, just a day out in London, you're on like 400 quid, don't even know how, because it's like 50 quid just for a train ticket to get there. They want to go and eat, and then you want to go inside of and have an ice cream, everything. Fine, fair enough. But end of the day, I have so much stress. They don't like it. It's too many people. You have to pay attention where they walk and them not running on the road. You have to, because you're going to the nicer places and posh, like the afternoon teas restaurant. We went to Savoy Hotel, and like the luxury is amazing. But then you're there with the kids who are just noisy, and they throw a knife on the floor, and you're like, oh my goodness, like we're in this posh place, you can see, and then people give you that look because you're in that kind of place. It's like if you put a child inside of the first class on a plane, they will all look at you, are you crazy? The reason you pay first class is so the kids are not disturbing you and you can work. So really there is a logical things, and we go against that by proving ourselves something because we want to give them experience. They're not ready for it. Do the experience you want to do. I take them to forest where they run around. I hardly see them. They don't need me. They're happy just to be fed. And, we do picnic. I can read my book, whereas I can't do it in London. So I'm just giving you this example that don't base stuff on money and value of the outside thing. Plays what really matters to you. I have such a great day out with the kids when I'm not in London. I'm more connected to them. We're having fun. I have more free time for me, less stress. So what's really worth it? But I post that I was in London and the kids, for other people may say, oh, it's lovely they do it. Don't post for other people. Yes, I do share posts from my travels because I travel a lot, but I do it just partly because I like to see in a family, and it shows the lifestyle. I'm not doing these things for posting. I'm only posting what I live. And what I don't need to create stuff just to make a post. If you're in a flow of actually doing the things because you love them and that's how you want to live, if you love going to London, go there 5 times. The point is do things that come from you, not because you need someone else to think that you're better by doing certain things, because you're not. End of the days, if you actually mix with those type of people, you attract them just based on they think you're someone more because you have more materialistic stuff. Let's talk about materialistic world and spiritual. You are actually mingling and entangling with a very wrong type of relationships, which you will regret anyway. It will backfire you in many ways because that's what happens. The true friendship, end of the day, whatever life we live, have fun with it, have people who care for you, and really surround yourself people who you just, like I know I have friends that anything happens to them, I'm out of them and cancel whatever I have to cancel in a business. To me, that's priority over anything. So have your priorities sorted. Don't do things just to look better on the outside and then you come home stressed and thinking, oh my God, I spent all this money and it wasn't even enjoyable. Do stuff that fulfills you. And because that's what your children are watching you to do. They're going to copy you thinking that's the right thing to do. And they're going to end up being miserable and unhappy. And we know with Norman, we're surrounded by so many billionaires and they are not happy inside. There's so many of them say, I would give all this money out if I had an amazing love. If I had person and friends who don't just like me for money. Because we maybe desire those things when we don't have them, when we're placing ourselves and building up ourselves up. But end of the day, it's the worst thing we can do for our life. And you only have one life to it. And I'll have Norman close it up.
I totally agree. And I want to recommend a movie to all of you, and I hope it's available also in English. It's called The Girl Gang. I have it lined up in Amazon Prime. It's free, at least for me, in my country. The Girl Gang, and it's about a young girl who wants to become an influencer. And she starts with scratch and wants to make 1 million followers. And the movie shows how she does it and that it really works. And I just watched the trailer so far, and one of my clients recommended it and said, you need to watch that. That's a great movie. In the trailer, it's being said that she's using kind of 12 hours a day, sitting in front of the phone, and it gets more and more. And the parents who support her are getting frustrated because the movies and the shorts and the videos, the pictures are not good enough for her. So that's the other thing. If you watch influencers and you think, oh, they have a beautiful lifestyle and beautiful car here, and I don't think they just walk by and snap the picture. It's a basically full-time job that you sell yourself to the others. And I will watch the movie, maybe you do too. Just whatever you do, enjoy all the material things that God or the universe put on this planet. They're here to play with. Still, don't use them to make you feel better. Just use them to just enjoy them much more. And your true and inner self-love should not come from an addiction to I don't know, food or fast cars or watches or whatever, but from the enjoyment of those things to just be the whipped cream on your cake, but don't make them the cake itself. In the sense, loved ones, friends, family, and whoever watches and listens to us, we wish you a wonderful week and not stay addicted, stay happy, stay calm, and we will see you again next week. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.